It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go! Thursday show, November 30th, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com, and the Fox local app if you're watching live. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, hello, everybody in YouTube sphere. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you as well, gentlemen. Always good to be with you. Always good to see you. Just chilling. You know, it's actually a nice day outside this Thursday. It's a decent game coming on tonight, so I'm just riding, man. I'm just living on riding you guys' waves, man.
No doubt about it. Riding your coattails, Braylon Edwards. Riding this guy's coattails, the great Tom Mazawey.
Let's ride. Let's ride, Woodward Sports.
Oh, man.
As the great Russell Wilson would say, let's ride, fellas. Beautiful day outside today.
Oh, my. It's gorgeous out there.
Gorgeous.
We got Pete Spivak in the house. JB is with him. Kool-Aid in the audio booth. How you doing, young man, over there? Braylon, if I can, just quickly, Tom Mazawey went to the Pistons game last night, or should I say went to the Lakers game last night.
Yes.
Ryan is looking too deep.
And your mic's on over there. Sorry about that. Went to the Lakers game last night, and Maz, the pictures that you sent the group did not seem very appealing.
Well, I got in there with no problem, no issues, and I thought I got to get there really early because the Lakers, you know? I was basically just walking up on my own, a couple people here and there walking in, a very late arriving crowd, I'll say that. As the game progressed, it did fill up a little bit. They probably had, what did they fit, 20,000 there? They probably had 15.
Really?
By the time it was all said and done.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Kool-Aid, would you say that's about right? 15,000?
Yeah, they, for whatever reason, outside of that Wizards game, have been able to attract fans, and it's one of the oddest things to me this season.
Well, again, it was mostly Laker people there, and it is what it is. They got down like by 17 points early in the first quarter. They never really could get out of it. They're a lost bunch, and you hear their coach at the end of the game. And what does Monty Williams say? He says, this group does not
do well with adversity.
Does not do well with adversity. That's not good. That's not good.
It's not good for a coach. First year come in, and it's only been, give or take
18 games,
so
something like that?
18 games,
2
and
and
he's already
16.
talking about this team doesn't do well with adversity. It's your job to help them do well with adversity. They're young men, so you're guiding them. So I think that comment is a little ill-advised for right now. But as it relates to, like, coming to the stadium, man, I've been to the Warriors game, I went to the Sixers game, and I went to the Nuggets game, and I agree with Matt. You walk up, it wasn't that crowded, especially when you go to those games on Monday. Like Monday, Wednesday, people are like, I'm not going to see the Pistons. It's whoever's in town.
Right.
But people
That's mainly what it is.
Yeah, and even now, you're talking about really good players. People aren't trying to go see those really good players this early in the season. People are stuck in football season. The Pistons are not good, so they don't want to come. And then you also run the risk of people getting benched or people not playing. So I think, you go to those games, it's always the other fan bases that are dominant. When I went to see that Warriors game, it was nothing but Golden State Warriors. It's all Warriors. Like, it was all Warriors at the game.
Listen, I always made sure that I was early at the Palace and early at Little Caesars
had to be.
hear John Mason.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mason, when he gets you going, it really is an exciting
It's a
thing.
production.
It's a great production, and the Pistons have always been on top of their game when it comes to production. But you know what? I didn't get a chill this time. It was like,
Cold chill.
Okay. I'm not excited anymore, and that's sad. If I'm not excited as a fan, those kids are not excited to play ball.
Before Ryan throws the harpoon right at the Pistons, which deserve it in this case, how could you get excited though, Maz? Like, you go down every year, it's less wins than the year before.
Yeah.
Last year was less wins than 2021. 2021 was less wins than 20, and so on and so on and so on. Last time they won a playoff game, 18 years ago. It's 18 years ago. So it's to the point like, how can I get excited? And then I get excited about it's a coach that comes from Phoenix, and you saw what he did out there in terms of helping those young players kind of become the best versions of themselves. He comes here, he said, you know what, maybe this guy is the guy. He's worked with a lot of young players, and the effort isn't there. When the effort can't be there, like, at least if the effort is there, if it seems like the effort is there, I can work with it, and I can say, you know what, I'll support him, we'll figure it out, but the effort isn't even there, man. That's why there's no enthusiasm about the Detroit Pistons right now.
No, man, and it's not good.
Was I
man.
close, Ryan, right around there?
I mean, I think you guys are really, hitting the nail on the head. I told you yesterday, the Pistons made me become a sports fan. The bad boy Pistons of the mid 80s, the late 80s, and what they have become is so sad to me that they're almost virtually not even worth speaking about. One of the things that I wanted to bring up about last night's game in Maz with you in the building there, have either of you considered that this could potentially be the last time LeBron James plays basketball in Detroit?
I never thought of it.
I mean, just each year, you just can't take the next year for granted. And when you play a team once a year, the Warriors once a year, the Lakers once a year, any team in the West once a year, and that's why the Jokic once a year, and he gets thrown out in the second quarter.
I was there.
It's just not right. But this guy has been so great for so long. Now, I respect him like hell. No, he is not the greatest basketball player ever, but he is the greatest basketball player of the last generation. And I did watch that game a little bit with like a, you know what I mean, like a twist, because I was in the building when he scored 25 straight in a row in that playoff game, but. I'm telling you, one of the greatest, and maybe one of the last times, if not the last time, you'll ever see LeBron play.
When I was a kid, man, I told you the Knicks won when I was 11 years old. That was 73. The Sixers won 9 games that year. I remember that. I'm like, wow, our team won 9 games. The 76ers, that's the worst record in.
Still.
It's got to be still there. Mm-hmm. The Pistons might beat it. The Pistons might get less wins than the Lions. Think about that.
Yeah, I saw that today. Somebody tweeted that out, that the Lions have more wins in the last calendar year than the Pistons.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have the greatest ever is Michael Jordan. That's why I'm wearing these cool grays right now, cool gray 11s to be exact. But, yeah, the thing with LeBron is I thought about that. I thought about it not being his, being his last time. I thought about him not playing again. But the Pistons are so lackluster, I refuse to go down there and see LeBron, have his 30 or whatever he did against the Pistons last night, win by 29 or almost 30. I'm going to make a trip out of that. I think to see him, because if this is his last game, Ryan Ermanni, if this is the last time you're going to see somebody that truly personifies greatness, like, don't you want to see him in a game that matters? Like, don't you want to see LeBron versus KD or LeBron versus insert star here that we know? So to see one of his last games, I'm going to go somewhere. I'm not watching the LCA. and this is no disrespect to my home team, but like, I don't want the last time I see him play be against what you saw last night.
So then at halftime, I walk around the concourse. I go to the team store, because I always go to the team store no matter what arena I'm in. And I know you're going to pay a little bit more when you go in there. I couldn't get anything under $30 there. I'm talking like a T-shirt. A T-shirt's $36 and above. If you want to get a jersey, I went to the clearance rack, see if I can get one of those green Piston jerseys from one of my daughters, because they love rocking NBA gear as well. Couldn't
forget about it.
I couldn't touch it, man. It's so expensive.
What a shame.
It's so expensive, man. They're pricing you out as well. And I know on the secondary market you can get a cheap ticket right now to go see them. And
it's not the ticket that's going to get you. It's everything else.
Everything else.
It's the parking. It's everything else.
And I got nothing to bitch about. But if you're going to go there, you better bring a lot of credit cards with you. Plus, they only take credit cards on top of that.
Oh my God.
No cash.
Yeah,
cash is out.
They don't take cash there?
No, they don't.
They don't take cash anywhere.
Cash is over.
When did that happen?
Cash is over.
When did that happen?
COVID. Like, it was already getting there before COVID.
That was just the excuse to not take cash.
COVID was a cover for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
It's a total
and
cover.
raised prices.
It's a total
I like
cover.
these gas stations that have the cash price and the credit price. Who the hell is walking in there with $100 bill and paying for their gas that way?
Oh, yeah, true.
Who? It's a
crazy,
farce.
man.
Shoot, now that you know that, I might have to carry cash just for that.
Yeah, you should.
There
Just
you go.
just for that price. Guys, big show for you today. Coming up in about 20 minutes from now, we'll talk to Mike Haas, who is the play-by-play voice of the New Orleans Saints on radio there. We'll get the lowdown on everything happening with the Saints. To me, I picked the Saints to be a top 2 or 3 team in the NFC this year. I thought with the defense that they had last year,
picked them to win.
with Michael Thomas back, with adding Derek Carr, I thought this was a team that was really going to compete for an NFC championship. And they still might. You never know what happens if you get into the postseason. But they are struggling. We'll see what he has to say about them. Coming up in hour number 2 of the program, we're going to talk to our good friend Mike O'Hara from DetroitLions.com, get a sense of his perspective on the Detroit Lions. Where are these guys right now? Where is this team? A little bit of a rough patch over the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and we'll see if they can dig out of it. This feels like a really big week, and I do think, Bray, with a 10-day layoff, I think this is a week that you're going to see the Lions play a really good football game. I have talked myself into that. I think the rough patch ends this week. I think they play really well against the Saints.
Yeah, I hope it does. But the good thing about it for the Detroit Lions this year, in terms of what we've seen, is every time they've had a rough patch or every time they've had a hiccup, let's call it that, they've responded. Whether it was losing to Seattle and then bouncing back, whether it was losing to the Ravens in the fashion they did and bouncing back. Every time they've had one of those hiccups this season, it seems like they found a way to bounce back. And not only just bounce back with a win, Ryan, it seemed like in each of those next 2 games, they bounced back with a purpose. They bounced back and they won with authority. You look at how they won over. Like, they won those games with authority, handily. So they've shown us that they can do it. So let's go down here and let's make this the 3rd time and the last time that they need to respond. Tom Mazawey.
They're definitely, well, I'm not going to say they're definitely going to win, but I'm picking them to win. I'm picking them to cover. I'm picking them to play their best game in the last month. I think Dan Campbell going back to New Orleans, where he got kind of a coaching start, right?
This is true.
Tight ends coach, learning under Sean Payton, and before that with the Dolphins and under Bill Parcells. This is his place, man. This is where his team has got to pick him up. And let's go. Let's ride, Detroit.
I think a good thing too is, I'm always the guy where a win has to look a certain way. Whether it's, a win against a bad team needs to look a certain way. A win against a less than divisional opponent needs to look a certain way. This is a game I need them to win, Ryan Ermanni. Like, I need them to go down there and win. You need to get it back in the winning column first, and then we can start to really fix everything that's going wrong and everything that hasn't necessarily been exactly right this season. Just get a win. Get back in the winning column. You get to 8-3, then you can worry about the next opponent. Then you can worry about fixing things. But if you get to worrying about trying to play perfect football, trying to beat them a certain way, we're much better than them. We're +4 and they're at home. You get to worrying about all that, sometimes it'll go back the opposite way. Just get a win, and we can cover from there.
Yeah, no doubt about it, guys. We'll also talk Michigan football, Big Ten championship game against the Iowa Hawkeyes on Saturday night.
Michigan's in the Big Ten championship?
They are for
How?
the 3rd straight year.
They've
Big
had a
Ten
coach for 3
championship
games.
game against the Iowa Hawkeyes. We'll talk about that. Lots to get to on a what's today? Thursday?
Today's Thursday the 30th.
But first, a message from Dispo.
That's right. Now, open till midnight, Romeo Dispo, Michigan's largest cannabis mall. 21 weapons and how old you have to be, recreational only. But other than that, man, they got the best product, the best brands, the best people working there. It's a fun place to play. You walk in, you're like a kid in a candy store. Oil, flour, it does not matter. Dispo Romeo, open till midnight, Michigan's largest cannabis mall.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Hey, for over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks. If you can't make it in person, you can always order online. They ship next day. FairwayPacking.com. FairwayPacking.com. Glad to have you along with us here on YouTube, Woodward Sports on YouTube. 56,500 subscribers on this platform. Hit that like button for us. It helps YouTube push our content out to more people. Mike Haas, Saints radio voice, in 15 minutes. And in about an hour and 15 minutes, we'll talk to Mike O'Hara, DetroitLions.com. Bray, we're just talking about Lions and Saints here. The Lions are a 4-point favorite on the road in New Orleans. Dan Campbell talked about this one, and he talked about playing in New Orleans. Here's what he had to say about that. We'll get that for you momentarily, guys. But nonetheless, he's really excited to be playing in New Orleans again. He spent here it is. We got it now.
It's a tough place to play, too. This is going to be an unbelievable environment, and it's hard to win there, but it's exactly what you want. I mean, this is exactly what you want. This is another one of those, you start talking about these places you get to go play at, man. We talked about Arrowhead. You talk about going to Lambeau. You get to go to the Superdome. I mean, there's nothing sweeter than this. You come out with a win out in that environment. So it's a formidable opponent. It doesn't matter how many guys they have out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who we're going to have out, because we'll probably have a couple out again. It's about getting ready to play your best football against a team you have to assume is going to play their best football. That's what it is.
Yeah, he's right. It's a real championship, real big-time atmosphere when you play down there at the Superdome or the Mercedes-Benz Domes or whatever the hell they want to call it now. It's a fun place. They have one of the best fan bases in the country. Matters, would you give me that?
Absolutely. The Superdome is a great place to
100%.
play.
I mean, it's the 8th wonder of the world at one point in the it's a fun place to play. It always, no matter how they are, they're going to show up, they're going to cheer for their Saints, and they're going to cause havoc for the opposition. It's like playing in a playoff-like environment and atmosphere. And once you win that game, that's something that you take. You get that win on the road in that type of environment. That's an environment that the Lions are going to play in the playoffs. That's an environment that Ford Field is going to feel like for opposition. So getting a win down there in New Orleans against a team that could still win their division could be a huge win for them and their favorite, and it's on the road. This is a really fun game for the Detroit Lions. It's one of those ones when you win, that plane ride back, oh, man, it's going to be a lot of boo-ray and a lot of fun for those guys.
Hell yeah, man. That's a dome there. A lot of Super Bowls have been played in that dome, and a lot will be played in the future. That is the dome. I know there's better ones out now, newer and cleaner, but that is the place to play. And for the Lions to bounce back and to do it where Dan Campbell used to coach, I think will be a fantastic. And they got to beat the Saints. You got to beat that team.
Whenever I think of the Super Bowl, I always think about Sweetness not getting the ball.
Super Bowl 20.
Super Bowl 20 not getting the
Super
ball.
Bowl 20.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Lions play one of their best, cleanest games, too, because, we talk about the turnovers so much, and we talked about it with Dan Miller yesterday. The Lions -7 in the turnover battle over the last 4 weeks. 3 turnovers against Green Bay, 4 against Chicago, none against the Chargers, and they won that game by 3 points, Bray, and that's probably one of the reasons why they won that game, because the Chargers scored 5 touchdowns in the last 5 drives, but it was that extra possession the Lions got by being a +1 in the turnover battle that really was the difference in the game. And then the week before that, they somehow found a way to beat the Las Vegas Raiders by double digits despite having 3 turnovers in that game. But you've got to just stop giving that ball away. And the Saints are a team that you aren't going to beat if you lose the turnover battle. They're just good enough to beat you if you turn that ball over.
Yeah, 100%. The turnover battle has always been the clear way to measure how a game is won and lost. It's the easiest stat to point to when you look at it. And the Detroit Lions have not been taking care of the football. Look, just 2 seconds ago, I said you want to just see the Lions win this one. And I agree. You want to see the Lions win this one, come home with a win. You're 8-3 now, and it's a win in the NFC. You get back on track. But I'd be lying if I said you didn't want it to look a certain way. If you don't have any turnovers, if you play better, if the offensive line looks like the offensive line that they look like in those games that they won and won handily, then you start to look at this team again and say, okay, they're back on track, man. I can look at them and say, I believe in this team again. I think they're back on track to where I think they can go. But if they get a barrel win where it's like, when they scraped and they got it, you're happy for the win, but you still have concerns. You still have questions on what they're going to look like moving forward.
Derek Carr has not played well this year, and he's been injured on and off.
He's got like 4 300-yard passing games, too. It's crazy.
Yeah, but it's mostly in junk time.
True.
They're always behind when that happens. They do have a good defense still. So, and Taysom Hill's going to get his chances, and he's a pain in the neck as well. But Alvin Kamara is the way that team wins. If you can hold that guy under 100 yards total offense, you got a hell of a chance to win that game. Of course, you got to hold on to the ball as well. And I believe, I've been reading now that J-Mo has been, they're starting to notice him in practice now. The Lions coaches are appreciating how hard he's working. And they said yesterday in the locker room that they're going to try to feed him a little bit more and get him more involved in the game plan, something that you've been asking to do for about a month now.
Yeah, and I actually can appreciate how they've gone about it because, playing football, being in that level, being in that locker room, a lot of times when guys come in, you want to see how hard a guy is going to work before you start featuring him, before you start feeding him. You want to see if a guy is going to go through the pecking order. You want to see if a guy can block. You want to see if a guy is going to work hard in practice. You're going to see if a guy, how does he interact with the team? And I think he's starting to do that, and that's what Maz means. They're seeing him because he's consistent. They're seeing him because everything they ask of him, he's doing. That's how you get on the field. That's how you get your passes. It's not necessarily where you're drafted. It's the worker you put in there. Because the Lions and Dan Campbell have built this thing a certain way. They want guys to appreciate it. They want guys to work the same as everybody else. And that's what you're getting out of Jameson. That's why they're going to feature him a little bit more. Plus, hell, they need somebody down that field. They need to make some plays down the field. I want to see them make some big plays like that, so it's a little easier underneath for Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta, and you open up the running game. Let's not make it where David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs got to be the driving catalyst to get this offense going. Let's get Amon-Ra down the field. Let's get Jameson down the field.
Let's hope Jonah Jackson gets to play.
And he was limited yesterday in practice, so that's a good thing. He was limited. Frank Ragnow, full practice. It feels like if you can get your offensive line back, you've got yourself a fighting chance because Jared Goff has been really under a lot of fire lately from that pass rush of the opponents that they've faced. I wanted to say this about the Saints offense too, because one of the big reasons why the Lions are not playing well right now is because that defense looks like an absolute sieve right now.
Yeah.
In the last 5 weeks of the season, this defense has allowed 29 points per game. They have a 3-2 record in the last 5, but last 5, the defense has allowed 25 points a game. In the first 6 games of the season, when they were 5-1, the Lions defense allowed 21 points a game. So you're talking about a difference of 8 points. That's more than a touchdown. That's a significant deal. And
That's what they lost last week.
Absolutely. You're looking at it on your screen right now. And I think turnovers are a big reason why. I think this defense has been put in terrible positions. Yeah. But ultimately, this defense is being called out. Now, Bray, the frickin' Saints offense is not good at all. In 7 of their 11 games, they have scored 20 or less. 20 or less. They've scored in the 30s twice in 11 games. This offense is not good, despite having Derek Carr, despite having Alvin Kamara, despite having Chris Olave and Michael Thomas. They just have not been able to put it together.
No, they definitely haven't been able to put it together. But getting back to the Detroit Lions for a second, talking about that defense. In the beginning of the season, you look at the teams that they played against to now. So you got to look at a couple things until why it looked a little better and why it's looking a little bad. In game three, they played the Falcons. Falcons were not that good early. They played Green Bay. Green Bay was horrible early. They played the Panthers. Panthers are still horrible. They played the Buccaneers. Buccaneers weren't that good early. They played the Ravens. They got cooked. Then they played the Raiders, and the Raiders weren't that good, especially when I saw them. So a lot of those teams they saw, we're playing horrible football and we're not good. Not to mention now, there's a reason they went out and got Emmanuel Mosley in the offseason. There's a reason why they went out and got CJGJ in the offseason. There's a reason why they drafted Jack Campbell in the first round, linebacker out of Iowa, who we'll see his team this weekend. They went because they needed help at those positions. They needed guys on those positions that could be the key. And those guys coming along is Jack Campbell, other guys out for the season with injuries. Well, CJGJ, we'll talk about that as well. That's hurting them as well. You go out and get players, you expect them to do well. Look at the free agents on other teams that are playing well, like the like the Philadelphia Eagles. That's another thing that's hurting the Lions is guys who you went after, guys you paid money to. They're not available for you right now, and that's something that's hurting them as well.
By the way, he did say
Instagram?
CJGJ.
December 20th.
December 20th, he says. So does that mean
That's
December
what he put
20th?
on his Instagram story.
Exactly. Does that mean December 20th he's going to play football or practice football? That would be a big distinction. December 20th, by the way, maybe he can come back to practice. Then they've got 3 games left at Minnesota, at Dallas, and the Vikings. They play Minnesota on Christmas Eve. So we'll see what that means, whatever December 20th means. Maybe that's when his clock starts of 21 days, right?
I mean, speaking of 21 days, 'tis the season for comebacks. You talk about Aaron Rodgers coming back, which to me is still crazy. CJGJ, maybe he's jumping in on that, and they could really use him. That would be perfect timing, especially with the Cowboys game coming up, the Vikings for the second time, and then that playoff run. That could be a major time to come back.
Anybody that they can get in that secondary would be helpful right now because
the secondary's fine. It's the rush.
Well,
there's
that's
only
true.
so much. There's only so long you can cover a guy.
Right, that's true. That's
They're
a great
playing
point.
okay,
That's a great point.
considering all the injuries, Mosley and CJ. You don't have those guys. 2 of your guys that you signed in the offseason, you don't have them. But you know what? You got other guys that plugged in. Brian Branch is playing great. Tracy Walker's doing his thing. Rush the damn passer. That's it. That's what it comes down to.
It's both. It's both. It's the back end as well as the defensive line. And we keep saying Hutch isn't getting any help. And we keep saying Hutch is not getting help. Hutch isn't making plays either. Hutch has got to help the other side as well. Hutch has got to dominate the team. So whereas it's easier for the guys on the other side, that's what he's got to get. I told you the story with Michael Strahan. Coach, they're double teaming me his rookie year or his second year. Coach, man, they keep double teaming. Take that as a sign of respect. Take that as a sign that they believed you have arrived. Now, find a way to get off that double team. I don't want to hear the excuses. He's got to get off those double teams, and they got to help him out. If they do that, you can get some coverage sacks by the defense. Then you can get some pressure interceptions by the secondary. So, got to do it. Works together.
We're going to head to New Orleans next, talk to the Saints play-by-play radio voice. We'll do that next, but first a message from Big Boy.
All right, fellas, winter time is comfort time in Detroit. It's always better when you get to Big Boy. Try the veal parmigiano, the new Southern Comfort chicken bowl, but you want to start your day off with a great breakfast. You know what's back, the stuffed potato pancakes, as well as the classic lumberjack and Santa Fe omelets, and the brand new apple pie hotcakes are to die for. Top it all off with a shake. How about a gingerbread shake? Brand new from your local Big Boy.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazawey and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
How would you like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Citron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win. Register at drinkcitron.com/Vegas and buy Citron at your local Meijer store. Citron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Citron. drinkcitron.com/Vegas.
I see you, Pete Spivak.
Bam.
Hell yeah, man. Great job, buddy.
Citron.
Absolutely. Damn. Hey, as we track down Mike Haas having some connectivity issues, we'll get with him momentarily. Bray, how big is it that Hendon Hooker is back at practice? He is practicing now. His window is started, and good on the Lions for giving him a year of service as well for that contract to roll over.
Definitely good that he's out there now. Definitely good. The guys are seeing him say he looks good, says he feels good to be out there because look, let's call it a spade. Like, you drafted a guy that could have went first round last year. You drafted a guy that could have won the Heisman Trophy if he doesn't tear his ACL. If they go, it's a lot of ifs. I understand that, but you're drafting a guy that has some cachet. You're drafting a guy that's a little older. He's a little mature. Guaranteed he's picking up this playbook a lot faster, some of these young guys, and he's had a chance to sit back and observe, watch Amon-Ra St. Brown, watch Sam Laporta, watch Jahmyr Gibbs, how these guys operate and how these guys operate. So it's going to be fun to see what happens. And also, hey, we still don't know what's going to happen next year. So it's going to be interesting these last couple of weeks.
Let me play a little audio for you. This is Hendon Hooker talking about how J.T. Barrett, the Lions' offensive assistant, that J.T. Barrett, Ohio State quarterback, has helped him come along.
How's Coach J.T. Barrett helped you through this time?
Yeah, he's been great. On and off the field, just talking to me about the steps that I'm taking to get back, because he's endured an injury as well, a couple of them. So he knows exactly what I'm going through. He knows exactly the steps to take to get back your confidence and get back to the floor.
That was Hendon Hooker, and we are all pretty excited to see what this kid can do eventually one day for the Detroit Lions. But now, guys, let's head down to New Orleans, bring in Mike Haas, Saints radio voice, play-by-play voice of the New Orleans Saints on X at Mike Haas, COMM. Mike, how you doing, my friend?
I am doing fine. Busy day here. I'm my office in the Superdome, and got a Pelicans game tonight and Saints on Sunday, so it's been a while since we've been around this building for a significant period, so good to be here.
Absolutely. You know, it's interesting you bring up the Dome, because we were just talking about that. Dan Campbell talked about how difficult it is, having been there for 5 years, just how difficult it is for an opponent to come into that building and play a football game. What is it about the atmosphere inside that Dome that makes it so hard on opposing teams?
Well, he was here when they were winning every week, right? And so they, 13-3 was like, all right, good year, way to go, right? So it's 2016 to 2020. He won 4 division titles, and it is a special building. It's been difficult the last really 3 years, 9-8, Sean's last year, and then Dennis, 7-10 last year, 5-6 at this point, and they have not really played well here in the last probably 3 years. So the crowd is just aching to cheer like they used to back in those days. So there just has not been a whole lot to kind of get excited about, and they're all noon games, and so people kind of roll in here late. But when it's up, and those times when Campbell was here and Aaron Glenn, man, it was nonstop from beginning of the game to the end. But they just haven't had fans haven't had the opportunity to get that excited recently.
Mike, glad to have you on the show here. Braylon Edwards, you talked about having something to be excited about. Well, it seems like there is one thing to be excited about, and that's receiver second year out of Ohio State, Chris Olave. It seems like it doesn't matter who's the quarterback playing in that particular game. He always finds a way to make catches, get first downs, and even score touchdowns. Talk about how good and how big Chris Olave has been paused in the last 2 years for the New Orleans Saints.
Well, he's just been huge. I mean, he was really, the only guy against Atlanta last week 7 receptions and 114 yards at halftime, and he gets hurt in the second half. And so he's in concussion protocol right now. And, it's rare. We see it. Guys come back in that week span. But, he has been – it's funny because he's such a – he's so open sometimes. You're like, how are you guys not guarding Chris Olave? Because he was a kind of a third down machine last year, and again, 63 receptions. He's just been the guy, especially when you lose a Mike Thomas. He's just been very, very dependable.
Talking to Mike Haas, play-by-play radio voice of the New Orleans Saints. Let's stick with that offense for a minute, Mike. What is the talk down there in New Orleans about this offense? Just looking at, I think 7 of the 11 games this year, 20 or less. This offense has just not been clicking at all. Is that a little surprising down there?
Yes, because I think expectations were really high, and until really the last 2 weeks, they have not been hammered by injuries like some teams. I mean, the last 2 weeks they have, but prior to that, they had their receiving core, they had their running backs, and it's really just inside the 20s. And so they have struggled so much in the red zone. I use you guys as an example. You're the second best offense out there. You have sort of 27 points a game. The Saints have been in the red zone more than the Lions. Wow, that's impossible, right? We've been there 40 times. The Lions have been there 38, but we don't cash in, right? And so field goals versus touchdowns, never. In the last 2 weeks, the Lions have attempted 0 field goals. We've attempted 7. And so it's not that they have not moved the ball. That's why their numbers offensively, look strong. But when they get down inside the 20, it is, 0 for 5 last week in Atlanta. 0 for 5? That's, and now I think it's become a little mental because it's been such a week-to-week issue. Last week was a little different because it wasn't just that you didn't score, you turned it over in the red zone twice, and one was a pick 6. And, it's just, that's a momentum changer that's hard to return. So offensively, between the 20s, pretty strong, but if they can't find a way to put it in the end zone, they're very, very easy to beat.
Mike, I want to ask you about 2 players real quick. You talk about inside the red zone, and we were talking about Chris Olave, a Big Ten guy. Here's another Big Ten guy, Juwan Johnson out of Penn State. Is he a guy that the Detroit Lions might have to expect them to run some plays for in the red zone? Because he is definitely starting to catch on in that tight end position because he was a wide receiver coming out of college.
Yeah, he's got skills that I don't think you can teach because he was a wide receiver. I've been a huge Juwan Johnson fan. And so I think he's a guy that should be targeted more in the red zone. I mean, they picked up Jimmy Graham, and he hasn't even been active. So, Juwan caught 7 touchdowns last year. He's only caught 1 this year. But he is a guy in the red zone. I mean, the Saints, to me, are almost, when you had Mike Thomas and Jimmy Graham and Juwan Johnson and Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill, you should be a strong red zone team. And so, I think Juwan should be one of those guys that they need to connect with in the red zone.
Hey, Mike, Tom Mazawey, thanks for joining us. I wanted to ask you about the quarterback position. Let's face it, it hasn't been exactly what you guys have drawn it up for. You bring in Derek Carr. He leaves the Raiders. He left the Raiders in an unfortunate time. They just didn't treat him right at the end, and he wanted out of there. He comes in, he works out, he looks like he's in great shape, but it just hasn't happened for him. Do you see a difference in Derek Carr this year?
I think the injury in Green Bay impacted him probably more in his head as far as, the clock in his head. I think sometimes he might hold on to it a second too long, and sometimes maybe he takes the first option so that he doesn't get the sack. And again, it's not that he hasn't moved the ball, but he really hasn't had I think the last touchdown was in the first half of the Chicago Bear game, back on November 5th. So that's, it's just, that's been the issue. It's not that he hasn't, moved the team, but it doesn't really kind of correlate into points, if you can put that all on Derek. But it's been tough, right? It's been tough, but he's battled through. He got hurt in the Minnesota, second half again, but he's come back. He's not missed any time. And, it's just hasn't, like you say, it looks good, and they expected it to be much better. It just hasn't really been there.
I saw the game against the Vikings, and Saints kept coming back at him, and that's when Jameis Winston got in that game, and he seemed to light a fire under them. And I know he throws a hell of a long ball. I know that. The guy has got a lot of talent, and we know there's a downside to him too. Do you think they're in better shape if they just use Jameis Winston?
No, I think we've seen. I think you nailed it. He did give him he came in that Minnesota game and he threw a couple of touchdowns, won pretty quickly, but then game on the line and plenty of time to move this offense. And you don't have to take deep shots. And then there's the two interceptions deep that cost him. So I think they've seen enough of his resume, and I think he's a solid quarterback. And there are some that clearly favor his maneuverability over Derek, because you just got to have a guy that can move around some to avoid some of the pressure that you see in the NFL these days. But I think it's Carr's job, and I don't see Jameis, taking that over anytime soon.
I love Jameis Winston. I just wanted to get that on the record now. I mean, that is my guy. I was going to ask about him, but it's all good. Mike, let me ask you about this division. There is something. What is going on in this division? I mean, last year with the Bucks, this year,
Atlanta.
Atlanta's 5-6. New Orleans 5-6. What do you think the problem is with the NFC South?
Yeah, that's tough. I think, the Bucks went all in, right, a few years ago with Tom Brady and won the Super Bowl and have been paying the price financially. I mean, there's $77 million dead cap, so it's been tough for them to figure out what the next option is. The Saints just finished last year paying Drew Brees, and Atlanta is just, I think, a good team that just finds a way to lose somehow. I really think they are probably one of the most talented teams can be at times in the NFC, but just figure out a way somehow not to finish it off. But this division was so strong for so many years with Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, and Tom Brady, and then you go from that pretty quickly to if you ain't got a quarterback, Baker Mayfield, Bryce Young. The Falcons have been back and forth. Derek Carr, new offense. I think it's a little bit of that. But it just hasn't been been a very good division the last 2 years, that's for sure.
How's Dennis Allen doing in New Orleans as far as being a head coach? It just doesn't seem that, to me, he's had another chance. He's had a couple of chances here. Do you think he's the long-term answer there?
I don't know if he's we're going to find out. I mean, this is year two. He is who he is. He's not Dan Campbell. Right, although they know each other, played with each other, they could not be farther apart in how they approach the media, how they kind of, just their demeanor. And Dennis is who he is. He's got 6 games left right now to kind of figure this out. 4 of them are at home, and so how the rest of this season plays out could very well dictate what happens to him next year. I don't think last year, being his first year and given everything that they were going through injury-wise, but he's a good guy, right? And he's been a solid coach, but he's just not been able to kind of, from a head coaching standpoint, from Oakland, Las Vegas to here, has not been able to put a bunch of wins up. And in the end, that's what it's going to be about.
Hey, Mike, thanks so much for the time, man. We really appreciate it here in Detroit. And who knows, maybe we'll talk to you again down the road for a playoff game. How about that?
That'd be awesome. I would love to. That's just the fact that we don't use that word a lot around here, but that would be great to even have that opportunity.
Hey, Mike, we haven't hosted a playoff game here in 30 years.
32. You're right. 32. Take it back. Know your audience. Know your audience.
Right. Know your audience.
Right. Thanks so much, Mike.
See you, man.
We appreciate it.
Thanks,
all
Mike.
the best.
You bet, fellas.
Thank you. Mike Haas, you can follow him on X at Mike Haas. C-O-M-M. We're going to take a break. When we come back, want to get into the NFC playoff picture a little bit. Where are the Lions' odds? They've come back to earth a little bit in terms of a Super Bowl. We'll get that for you next. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equipment Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Hey, I want to tell you about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. That's right, Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile, with Les Stanford Buick GMC. They offer the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. Again, Buick GMC located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue. And, of course, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want, all GM brands under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new road.
Find them. Hey, I want to take a look at the NFC playoff picture. If we could. The Lions are now the 3 seed after the loss last week to the Packers. And I think we all should start rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles here this week because they've got a big one at home against the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers, by the way, are a 3-point favorite.
How about that, huh?
In Philadelphia, a team that's lost 1 game this season. But if
a one-score game, nonetheless.
Absolutely. But if you just take a look at the seeding there, Bray, Lions with a, what do you call it? A 3 seed. Yeah. They would play right now, if the season ended today, the Seattle Seahawks.
So why are we going to cheer for the Eagles in this particular one?
Because I think your goal now is the 2 seed.
Okay.
I don't think you can catch Philadelphia. I think you're probably going to lose at least 1 more of the 6 that you play.
Right.
So you're going to have 4 losses, and to keep pace with San Francisco, I think you absolutely want to play that divisional round game at home if you have a chance to do that.
I think you definitely want to play at home if you have a chance to do it. But like I said earlier, I think the Lions need to focus on winning. I don't think they need to focus on the seeds. For us, we can look at the seeds, and the 2 seed would definitely be ideal. But they just got to get in the dance at this point, man. They got to win as many games as they can. They got to win the NFC North. Make sure they take care of business first, because a big thing in terms of losing momentum is worrying about the next team, worrying about the 2 seed, worrying about which games you're going to get, worrying about what teams you're going to get. They need to focus on winning and get back to the basics and the things that they're doing. But if they can get the 2 seed, it will be good. But I think the Lions, you get them in the playoffs, I think you should get that different energy, man. I think they're going to be good regardless of where they're at.
I want the Seahawks.
If you're not getting one, then
I want the Seahawks.
I think that
I would love to play the Seahawks and end that little jinx that they got over us, because they've got our number. It's no question about it. They've got our number, and I would like to have another crack at them, to be honest with you.
Not to mention, they have not looked like the same Seattle Seahawks
I think
team.
they get blown out tonight too.
And I agree. Like,
I don't think so. Not tonight.
Let's put it this way. I could see them getting blown out. I definitely will say that. But they have not looked like the same Seattle team. They're turning the ball over. They can't run the ball. Remember, they got to the point where they were actually rushing the quarterback, and those two cornerbacks were being locked down. Those cornerbacks are getting exposed a little bit. The defensive line is getting no pressure. We talked about getting Kenneth Walker back. Not Kenneth Walker. Talked about getting Frank Clark back. Talked about getting Leonard Williams. Those guys have been no-shows for the Seattle Seahawks right now. So I think the Dallas Cowboys are catching them at the right time. But the one thing you can't forget, Pete Carroll is a Super Bowl winning coach. Pete Carroll is one of the greatest coaches of all time in terms of pivoting, getting his team prepared. So I think he'll be prepared for this game. We got up to the Dallas Cowboys, see what they do.
Dallas is obviously a lock for one of those wild card spots, assuming they don't catch Philadelphia. But
can they still catch Philadelphia?
Well, they got it. They're two back.
Okay,
and they play each other one time. So
and Philly nipped them.
And Philly nipped. Dallas should have won that game.
Correct.
Exactly.
By inches. If they make that 2-point conversion that Dak stepped out
of bounds.
then
the touchdown that was called on the goal line.
Then they need the field goal at the end instead of the touchdown. But I just want to make a point about the final 4 seeds. Like if you look at Seattle, Minnesota, Green Bay, and LA, okay? There's 4 teams for 2 spots. Assuming, again, Dallas gets one of those wild cards. Yeah. Minnesota, Green Bay, Seattle, and the Rams. 2 of those 4 are getting in.
Wow.
2 of those 4 are getting in.
You know I like the Vikes, right?
Yes.
But I think they might be fading a little.
They're done.
They might be fading a little.
I think Joshua Dobbs is not.
Well, he turned into a pumpkin.
Well, he turned into what he's been.
Right.
It's just it seems
not
like
a question.
He's turned into what he's been.
No, he did, and I talked about it a little bit earlier. It's like when he first got there, he's basically just running around. When you have film in the NFL, the best thing to do is the surprise element, the element of surprise. When the teams don't have film on you, Ryan, going into those 2 games, those defenses didn't know what Josh Dobbs was capable of, what these guys were going to do, how they were going to run the offense, what he even knew. So they're kind of going out there and they're just playing in the dirt. It's like, hey, look, run this. So, hey, why don't you? They're playing in the dirt, so they didn't have these guys on film. Now, as they got them on film, guys see what they're doing. Now they open up the offense to them. Now they're starting to try to run the plays, and they're adding too freaking much. Like you said, Josh Dobbs doesn't have a job for a reason.
Well, and again, it's a great point, Bray. I mean, how many guys in the NFL have been cut from a practice squad? Okay? Like, for instance, he was at the Lions practice squad, Bray. How many guys in the NFL have been cut off a practice squad team and not like, I'm not saying like made a roster or, turned into an active NFL player where you played a couple of games, but really a starting impact player in the NFL? There are very few of those guys that actually happens to.
Yeah,
where you're cut from the practice squad.
Yeah.
Like not the team, like the practice squad.
Yeah.
And then turn into like freaking Kurt Warner.
I was just about to say that's why you my guy. I was literally about to say there's only one Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
There's a guy that I know of that I play with, and you guys know him too. Toledo. You talk about the Bowling Green Toledo rivalry. Well, Lance Moore was a hell of a wide receiver for the University of Toledo Rockets.
And the Saints.
So he gets drafted. That's where I was going. Yeah. But he was with the Cleveland Browns with myself rookie year. He gets cut. He goes down to the Saints. Not only did he have a hell of a career, he also won a Super Bowl down there. So it doesn't happen very often. Lance had a very good career, but the average guy that's getting cut, he's not Josh Dobbs. He's not Lance. And he's definitely not Kurt Warner, Mr.
Listen,
Arena Football.
I don't want to poo-poo what Josh Dobbs has done. And I hope that he didn't turn into a pumpkin. I hope that he could still have an excellent NFL career and stick and see what happens. But watch the rearview mirror if you're the Vikings, because the Packers are starting to play really well. And that's a good young team. They got rid of A-Raj, and they went completely all young. They are missing the bell cow running back. If Aaron Jones can't play, that hurts them. If he plays, they can sneak up and get a spot and knock maybe Minnesota out of the playoffs.
And I think that's what Matt LaFleur's and the Green Bay Packers were so excited about with this season. Yeah, they knew they lost Aaron Rodgers. They knew they were going to take a step back, but they really believed in this young talent. Christian Watson, their wide receiver, Romeo Dobbs, their wide receiver, Rashawn Gary, who's really come on. I think he's in year 4 now. Shout out to the University of Michigan. Tunyon at tight end. They love their core of young guys and a couple older guys like Aaron Jones, who's a stud when he can get on the field. They like that, and they thought that Jordan Love would give them just enough to in an NFC North that's wide open if you're not vying for first place. Detroit Lions got that sold up, but it just didn't happen that early in the season. But now it seems like they're finding some type of consistency and some type of chemistry.
Don't forget that Michigan State receiver they got.
Oh man, Jaden Reed. Yeah,
you bet.
He scored the first touchdown last week. Thanks for that. That was
he is definitely.
That was on Monday. That was on the Lions.
Yeah, he's on his way up.
I want 300 off that.
Okay, so I'm giving you the 4 teams there.
Your Rams are tough.
Well, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to. You get to choose the Lions' playoff opponent of these 4 teams: Vikings, Packers, Seahawks, Rams. Order them for me right now. Vikings, Packers, Seahawks, Rams.
Wow.
Seahawks. I want Seahawks, Rams, Packers, Vikings.
Me, it's Rams, Seahawks, Packers, Vikings as well.
Meaning you want to play the Rams?
I would want to play the Rams over the Seahawks, the Packers, and Vikings. I want no part of the Minnesota Vikings in a playoff, in a first-round playoff. And there's a very specific reason for it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Week 16, Week 18, and then you're telling me I got to play them the next week is what, Week 19?
Yeah.
3 times in 4 weeks? No, thank you.
And that's why I want to play the Packers before them, is because they just took a bad loss to the Packers on Thanksgiving. In my estimation, look, they lost to a divisional rivalry.
Yeah.
They got embarrassed.
They did.
They got embarrassed in the grand sense.
Outcoached.
100%. They got outcoached. They got outplayed. They got embarrassed. So if they were to see Green Bay again, it would be a get-back game for them.
Yeah.
So that's why I would put Green Bay third.
Okay.
But Vikings, I agree with him. We talked about it. The toughest stretch for the Detroit Lions was going to be what? Vikings, Cowboys, Vikings. Now you mean to tell me that they've gotten a little bit better? Vikings, Cowboys, Vikings again? To hell with that.
I'll tell you, I don't know
How
if
about
you
Broncos, Vikings,
yeah.
Cowboys?
I skipped them.
I don't know if you want the Rams right now. Kieran Williams is back. He's one of the better backs in the game that no one knows.
Yeah,
you got Cooper Kupp. You got Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford if he stays healthy, and you got Aaron Donald still on the other side.
Yeah,
I don't know if you want that team.
Yeah, Kieran Williams is killer. He was at TCU. We actually saw him last year.
He's a back, man.
He's definitely a good back. I mean, Matt Stafford, 4 touchdowns in the first half.
You got to play somebody,
but
though,
you gotta
too.
play
I want
somebody.
Seattle. I told you. I want Seattle.
Aaron Donald kind of hasn't been the same guy this year because he can't get really help. Kind of looks like the other side of what Aiden is dealing with. But then also in wide receivers, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp both have calmed down. They're not the same Puka Nacua that they were early on. Puka's he's tapered off a little bit.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, he's tapered off a little bit. Plus,
that's because there's film now.
Yeah, but they got to come here. But at the end of the day, that's the other thing we're missing.
Right.
They have to come to Detroit.
What a story if the
Matt
Rams
Stafford
come
comes
here.
here?
I mean,
Oh, my God.
look, if you really want a story,
That's the story.
have the Rams come here. Have the Rams come here. That would be phenomenal.
How deflating is it though if they come here and Matt Stafford beats the Lions?
Well, that is what it is.
See, that's why you don't want to play.
That is what it is.
That would be a story as well.
Yeah,
Matt Stafford finally won a playoff game
Wow.
at Ford Field.
Wow.
Oh,
that is
You're
good
right.
stuff.
Hey, guys, break time. When we come back, it is time for a Top 10 Thursday. Top 10 Thursday, plus Mike O'Hara coming up 30 minutes from now. But first, a message from Swiss.
Do you have football on the brain? It's already been an awesome college and pro football season this year. Fall is also the perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at SwissINS.com or call 248-800-4177.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new down-home comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The down-home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of down-home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazawey and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Again, come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right. No expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Sir.
Absolutely. Hey, welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. We got Pete Spivak. We got JB over there. We got my main man Kool-Aid over here, too. Programming note, I am not going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to be traveling to the Big Ten Championship game in Indianapolis, covering the game for Fox 2 locally here in Detroit. So more than happy to join you by phone.
You're going back to your sports days.
I'm going back to my sports roots.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be traveling.
We'll call you. We'll talk to Luke on your way.
Oh, very good.
Put Luke on the phone.
Yeah, we'll put Luke on the phone.
There you go.
All I'm saying, the last 2 years I went, man, I caught the night. I caught the night flight. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I caught the night flight. That's all I'm saying.
I'm driving.
Bring your butt. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I was going to say, bring your butt to work tomorrow.
Fox flies Braylon Edwards out to Indianapolis.
That's National Fox.
You drive. Right.
Tell him, Bray.
There you go, Bray. There you go.
There
hey,
we
it's
go.
a top 10
It
Thursday.
is.
Bray, you got to bring Max in tomorrow. Take over for Ryan.
Oh, Max comes in. Yeah,
Are you guys even here tomorrow?
Yeah.
I think you're at Dispo.
No, we're here.
Oh, we're here.
Oh, you are?
We're here.
Oh, okay.
We're here,
not
and
here?
then we're here again that night.
We're not here.
We're at Dishbone.
Which one?
Oh,
Hazel Parker.
Oh, Hazel. Yeah.
Hey, if you said Romeo, I was riding with you to the national Big Ten championship.
Hey, I'm doing a gummy tomorrow.
Oh, you are?
You
Yep.
are?
You're not there. I'm doing a gummy.
Look at
I'm
that.
there.
Oh, God.
It's gonna be fun.
I had it right here. I had it right here.
So I dug deep in the bag. Came up with nothing.
Brady Top
Came
10
up empty.
Thursday. Here we go. Give us a little beat here, Kool-Aid.
Let's get a little music on. Let's get the people out there, give them some music, wake them up a little bit. Look, Top 10 Thursdays, haven't done one in a long time as it relates to putting the graphic out there for you guys. So why not? Let's get a good one, JB. So with Aaron Rodgers, okay? Aaron Rodgers coming back from injury, potentially. CJ GJ coming back from injury, potentially. What better way than talk about those guys and mention 10 really, really good comebacks. So these are top 10 comebacks that have happened in a little while. Number one is debatable. Me and Jeremy went back and forth over that. We'll get you guys insight on it. So let's start this thing out. Number 10, or in no particular order, Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer tore his ACL. I did it the same year in 2005, 2006 actually. I think if Carson Palmer doesn't tear his ACL, I think they're the ones playing that Super Bowl down there in Detroit at Ford Field. I think it would have been them and Seattle, but he tears it again with the Arizona Cardinals, and he comes back and win Player of the Year and actually had one of his better years of all time. Number 9, Tom Brady. The reason the rule was put in, the Miami Dolphins having a hell of a year that year down there in Miami. He's got hurt towards ACL. They changed the rule. You can no longer hit the quarterback. And what does he come? Well, he comes back to a couple Super Bowls and the greatest quarterback of all time. Coming in number 8. Man, I got one on for you too.
All right.
Do you remember the Tyler Eifert injury and when he got hurt?
I do with the Bengals.
It was nasty, man. It was nasty, and he comes back and he gets traded to the Jets. And had a really good year. Yeah, he got a really good year after that. This is more recent. Guys coming back from injuries, man. It can be done. Those ACLs, those Achilles, they suck. Trust me, I've had an ACL. I tore my meniscus as well. But guys can come back from injury, and we've seen that with Jamison Williams. Number 7, what you got there for me? Jeremy Maclin.
Jeremy Maclin, Missouri pride.
What you know about Jeremy Maclin from Missouri?
He was a great player at Missouri.
He was damn good, and he was a really good player for the Eagles. But you know who ruined that thing? Who busted it up? Chip Kelly comes in there. He's like, yo, I'm going to change this whole thing up. He gets rid of Mike Vick, Jeremy Maclin, Shady McCoy, and Deshaun Jackson, the same 4 guys that had them in the playoffs the year before. Jeremy Maclin tears his ACL, and he comes back the next year, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. Shout out to J Mac. Number 6. Now, this one's interesting.
Ooh.
You remember this one? This at the Silverdome. Barry Sanders shakes the doggone, you know what, out of Rod Woodson, tears his ACL, or tears his PCL, I believe, doesn't play the rest of the year, comes back and plays in the Super Bowl against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, obviously, they didn't win that game, but the fact that he tore it earlier in the year and he came back and actually had a good game, Rod Woodson, but stay away from Barry Sanders on them sidelines at the Silverdome, man. That cement is not forgiving, I should say. Number 5. Willis McGahee. So, do you guys remember?
I did the college game.
How do you not?
Live, like Maz.
Yeah, he would have been a Lion if this didn't happen.
Yeah, that's a fact.
He would have been a Lion, and Calvin Johnson would have never been a Lion.
Wow.
Thank God it happened then.
Yeah, it was. Was it? No, it wasn't Calvin.
Was it Calvin?
It wasn't Calvin. It would have been Roy Williams.
Roy Williams.
It was Roy Williams because Roy Williams went the year before me, so it'd been 04. Calvin went 07.
Right, I thought it was when the Lions picked 2.
So Lions, because Roy Williams went 7th in 2004.
I thought the Lions were going to be on the clock from the game.
2003 NFL draft. So 2003 NFL draft. The Lions selected Charles Rogers.
There you go.
At number 2.
There you go. Yeah.
Second overall.
So Lions would have had Willis McGahee and never Charles
Who went
Rogers.
1?
Carson Palmer.
And then 3 was
Andre
the Houston
Johnson.
Texans.
Andre Johnson, yeah. Next year was Larry Fitzgerald.
Right.
Next year was.
This was at the goal line, right?
that
The
was
Willis
the
McGahee injury.
No, it was on the sideline. It was about the 50.
The McGahee injury?
Yeah,
I thought it was at the goal line.
It was at midfield.
It was at midfield. That's what I said, the 50. No, it was at the 50 on their sideline. And Mike Doss, another number 2, he put his helmet right on his knee. Like, I mean, you know what it was. If they do that this way, like if that would have happened now, Mike Doss wouldn't even been drafted. But back then, you do it, he did it. And it cost him national championship to a certain extent. But that injury was bad, and still, somehow, because this injury happened January 1 or January 2 back then, 3, still was able to operate at Pro Day. He had his own Pro Day. Still was able to do some things, and still got drafted in the pick 24.
23.
That was close.
That was a terrible draft.
To the Buffalo Bills, correct?
That was a terrible draft. One Hall of Famer in this draft, taken 16. Any guesses?
The team?
No,
Pittsburgh.
Troy?
Yep.
Troy Polamalu. If Carson doesn't tear his ACL,
He's
that first time, he'd have been a Hall of Famer.
He's a stud.
Yeah, Polamalu or Carson?
Terrell
Carson
Suggs
Palmer.
turned out to be pretty okay, too.
One of the best defensive linemen of all time.
Carson Palmer would have been the real deal.
It was Kiesel. Did the dirty play. Brett Kiesel did the dirty play.
Damn Steelers.
Did them dirty.
Shocking the Steelers would do something dirty. All right, number 4, what do we got? Joe Montana. Tell me about Joe getting hurt, man. What do you?
I'll never forget when the Giants finished him off.
Yeah.
Leonard Marshall.
Pause.
Leonard Marshall crushed Joe Montana.
Got it over with. They were tired of the 49ers. The 49ers, they are the team of the 80s, no matter about the 85 Bears, Lawrence Taylor and what the Giants did. The 49ers are the team of the 80s and one of the best dynasties of all time, but the Giants had enough. They had enough, and they wore Joe Montana out. They did. They sent him to Kansas City Chiefs. That's what they did. Come in.
What do you think
No, go ahead.
What do you think these older guys think of quarterbacks today?
Yeah.
And just the way the game is played.
You heard
It's like
Tom Brady.
Two-hand touch, but not even Brady. I'm talking about Steve Young, Joe Montana, Dan Marino, John Elway. Guys like this, Warren Moon, getting their freaking heads just knocked off.
And still getting up.
Yeah.
Come for the next play.
Play in the next game, next week.
Can you imagine Dan Marino in the system where you can't hit the quarterback? Like Dan Marino threw for 6,000 yards. He threw for 5,200 in 16 games. Like, it would be different for those guys. Those guys were really, and I'm not dissing the game today. I think if you put those guys in this game, you have a lot of yards, a lot of sets. John Elway, some studs back in those times, but a lot slower. It would be interesting because it might actually level off. A lot of these guys are statues. Like, a lot of these guys, they can't move lateral. They can't go south and west. You got Aaron Donald coming, or you got Jay-Z or T.J. Watt or Nick Bosa or Joey Bosa or Aiden Hutchinson when he figures it out.
Well, they didn't work out like these guys did.
And that's what I'm saying. It might have balanced out.
Yeah.
It might have balanced out. Number 3, if you will. Peyton Manning. I forgot Peyton even got hurt. But we know that he got hurt because it cost him his quarterbacking spot with the Indianapolis Colts. And then he leaves because of the neck injury. And then he goes to the Denver Broncos after Irsay gets rid of him. And guess what, Maz? He wasn't done. He breaks the NFL record for yards in the season with 5,400. And he breaks touchdowns by his buddy Tom Brady with 55
Couple
in the
Super
year.
Bowls for the Broncos.
And then they got trounced in the Super Bowl. So it wasn't all sweet with his comeback. Number 2. This is where it gets interesting. That's all good. Drew Brees got hurt. And,
poor guy can't even use his right arm.
I know.
This is true. He thought it was done for him. He gets traded to the Saints, and the rest is history for Drew. So that's a hell of a comeback. Number 1, it should have been 2 ones, though. So T.O. and Adrian Peterson are what I consider the best comebacks ever. Now, T.O. did it in the same season. In the 2004 season, T.O. playing with the Philadelphia Eagles, number 81. The first 12 games, they were hot as firecrackers. The first 11, hot as a firecracker. He and Donovan dominating. Messes his ankle up, puts 2 screws in his ankle, sits out, tells him he's going to play if you make the Super Bowl. They make the Super Bowl. Not only did he play, if Donovan McNabb could have stepped up to the moment, Terrell Owens is your MVP. He had 10 catches, 132 yards on one leg, and he only could go one way.
Yeah.
Remember, he only could break to the right, so he never lined him up on the left the whole game. He was on the right the whole sideline. And then the other one is
McNabb threw up in that game.
He didn't. Yeah, he pulled a Willie Beeman for sure, in more ways than one. And then number 1 is another one, 1A, 1B, would be Adrian Peterson, because he tears his ACL in 2007. And in 2008, we know what he did. He ran for 2,000 yards first off of ACL. So just some little...
People forget about him, how great he was.
Like Adrian Peterson, one of the best running backs of all time.
Yeah.
Like 1,000%. One of the best running backs of all time. But once again, when you don't have playoff success, when you don't have those wins attached
Look
to
at
your
Eric
name,
Dickerson.
and people forget about you. Like they'll forget, like surely, but sooner than later, that game that what was it, the overtime game with Brett Favre and Adrian Peterson. They'll forget Adrian Peterson. He was on that team. So, but those are some good ways to point out CJ. We need to be on that list.
No
Aaron
doubt.
That'll be
Rodgers
fun if he can come
might
back.
be on that list.
Great job. Hey, we're going to talk to Mike O'Hara in about 15 minutes from now. But I want to go around the NFL. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Feldman.
Oh, it's the Feldman. That's right. Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. With over 18 locations, that means there's a location near you, probably in your own backyard. All you got to do is go to feldmanauto.com and you can figure it out. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience. It's called the Feldman Advantage. Do yourself a favor. Take advantage.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then, she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Outdoor Equipment Company, the official outdoor equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan-grown, family-owned bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, even weed whippers, Liberty trailers, Generac generators, and let me tell you, you're going to want one of those if your power goes out in the winter, no doubt about that. Snow X plows and salters. Outdoor Equipment Company has it all. You could buy it, you can rent it, all for 0% financing, delivered to your doorstep. OutdoorEquipCo.com, OutdoorEquipCo.com, your power equipment playground. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have some breaking news in the NFL.
How about that?
The Lions and Broncos have been flexed to 8:15 on NFL Network on Saturday night, December 16th. So the Lions and Broncos, that was a TBA. The game time has been set now, December 16th. It's a Saturday night. So Saturday night at Ford Field, that'll be a great one. Lions and Broncos, 8:15 on NFL Network. Now, I do not know this for sure, but I believe when games are on NFL Network, there are have been instances in the past where local networks, namely Fox 2, have been able to pick those games up. I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm sure that's being worked out right now.
I think it has to be.
I think.
Yeah,
I
if
think
the home
so too.
team, a home team's got to be seen on regular network television.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll work that out. If they do it for ESPN,
right,
it goes to Channel 7. Why the hell wouldn't it work with NFL
the
Network?
last time they played, I think that Thursday night game on NFL Network against the Packers was also carried.
It was
on Fox 2.
It was carried somewhere because I was at the bowling alley that night.
So
was it NFL Network or was it NBC that night?
I thought that was a Thursday. It was week 4.
Week
so
4.
I thought that was a Thursday night.
You're right.
NFL Network game.
Yeah, you might be right. Or it was an Amazon game.
Carried out Amazon. That's what it was. It was an Amazon game.
So it should be able to still get on, hopefully, Fox 2.
It's a great point. It was an Amazon Thursday night game carried on Fox 2.
We'll find out, though.
Yeah, we will.
I will definitely find out.
Yeah, I will too. How about you and I both find out?
How about I find out and then you find out? All right.
And then you find out right now.
I'm going to take you around the NFL.
Please.
How about that? There's a Thursday Night Football tonight. This is on Amazon for sure, guys. It's the Seahawks at the Cowboys. Cowboys a heavy favorite in this game. 9-point favorite.
Oh, my.
9-point favorite for the Dallas Cowboys at home tonight against
What's
the
the
Seattle
number on this
Seahawks.
one?
9.
9? So
Yeah.
that must have come down then.
Why? What was it?
9.5.
Okay, well, it's 9 now. Let's see what it is right this second.
And you tell me about that.
Tell you right this second.
9.
It's still 9.
9. 9
Yep, still 9 and 47.5.
9 times. By the way, primetime unders, okay? Primetime unders
Are leading.
30-9.
Yeah.
What's considered a primetime game? Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. Primetime unders. Are you kidding me? You know what that means? Over.
I don't know how this game goes under, the way Dallas scores.
Well, Dallas, the last 3 games at home, they've scored in the 40s. In the fourth game, they scored 38.
Yeah.
So this team scores so many points at home.
And they do it defensively, too.
Yeah, so the last 3 home scores, 45-10, 49-17, 43-20, and then they threw in the 38-3.
Wow.
And then the 30-10 against the Jets.
Yeah.
This team has won every home game by 20 or more points.
That's something, man. So Seattle is in trouble tonight. I thought the points would be good for Seattle tonight, but maybe not.
Well, they're begging you to take Seattle.
Yeah, I guess they are.
I think Seattle's definitely in trouble, and the reason why I think they're in trouble is because since that Eagles game, what you wanted to see with Dak, we know Dak can play good at home. We know Dak can play good with the league. We know Dak can beat up on bad teams. But how do you play on the road, Dak? How do you play against the Philadelphia Eagles on the road? How are you going to play in your big-time games? And I think that's the question. How he played in that game against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia, had an opportunity to beat him, stepped out of bounds. He was this close, kind of like KD shooting that 3 against Giannis, and those guys this close to it being over. How he's responded since then, I think that really unlocked something for Dak. Dak has kind of been at war with the media this year. Like, Dak is a guy that's always very, very classy at the podium, still is, but he's always smooth. He's even killed. This year, the media has gotten to him at that podium, whether it's about the 49ers, whether it's about the Eagles, whether it's about not being a top 5 quarterback, has gotten to him. And I think he's starting to answer those questions. That Eagles game, he played really well.
It's one of his best years.
And then here's
a dumb question.
He's in MVP contention.
That's what I was going to say. Is he the MVP of the league
right now? He is.
Or if
he's up there.
If 10 days from now they beat the Eagles,
and
then
the
he's
Lions.
really forget about the Lions for a second. Once he beats Philadelphia on Sunday Night Football next Sunday, if they beat Philadelphia, he is the clear-cut favorite for the MVP award right now.
Tell me this year doesn't remind you guys of last year as it relates to the Heisman Trophy. Like last year, at the end of the season, they were trying to give the Heisman Trophy to somebody. It was like, Stetson Bennett, do you want it? It was like, Max Duggan, do you want it? Stetson.
I forgot who won it.
Freaking Caleb Williams.
Oh.
And Caleb Williams lost the Pac-12 championship, and I say that to say this. Who are the MVP, or who are the MVP candidates right now?
6 weeks to go.
It's like Lamar Jackson, you want to put him in there because they're doing good. His numbers aren't the greatest, but they're winning. It's like Dak Prescott. Hell of a numbers, but he lost to the Eagles. Jalen Hurts, they're not the best numbers, but he's always a guy you can count on at the end. Brock Purdy, do you give the credit to the whole team, or do you give a little slice of that credit to what he's doing? Tua seemed like he cooled up. There's so many guys that are around the equation, but I can't pick 2-3 guys to, hey, it's this guy, it's that guy. Dak beats those guys a couple weeks from now, like you said, or I think it's maybe this game against the 49ers and Eagles. Maybe who plays well in that game, maybe could come out as
That's your leader.
Heisman. That's an MVP.
Hey, there's a warrant
leader.
out for the arrest of Von Miller. This is a pretty big story. It's gaining traction. Supposedly, what the word is he laid allegations. He laid hands on his pregnant. Is it his girlfriend?
Yes, his girlfriend is not his wife. I want all of the details to kind of come out before everybody gets to jumping on it. Stephen A. Smith said something really good. He was like, the whole situation going on right now with Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey, the individual for
Oklahoma City Thunder.
He plays Oklahoma City Thunder. I think he's been accused of an underage situation, and all the details haven't come out.
He's only 21.
Well, but she was 15. Allegedly. So, but it's not about the situation. It's about what I'm about to say next. The NBA has done a very good job, and so has the media, waiting till all the facts come out. I asked them to do the same with Von Miller in this situation. Just wait till all the facts come out. Ryan, you always hit the nail on the head. No, you always do a great job of saying.
Exactly what I was going to say.
We don't know. Let's wait. I think in this day and age, everybody's ready to crucify everybody. Von Miller's a hell of a player, and I know him as a person. That's why I'm believing that it's not true, but I'm hoping it's not true. But we'll save it till we get the details.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers he has been cut loose to go and practice and get ready to play football. Here's some video of him, as you probably have seen already, but we'll show it to you anyway. This guy he was injured at the beginning of the season, and Braylon, this is an Achilles injury, a complete tear, they said. They operate on him, and look at him. And we've been seeing him throw the ball, but first of all, is he crazy to want to come back this year?
He and the New York Jets are both crazy in the situation. And I'm a diehard New York Jets, so it doesn't pay me to say it is what it is. We speak candidly. Like, look, they're crazy for the situation. Like, I heard him. He wants to be the first to come back. They've lost 4 in a row. They're not playing for anything. They're not making it to the playoffs like that. They're not making it to the playoffs. So what is he trying to come back and risk at the end of the day? What are they trying to allow him to come back and risk? Like, a dumb question I heard somebody say, like, do you allow him to come back and just play a series just to say he can be the only one to come back this fast and then make you feel good about the next season? Why? So then he can hurt? It took him 4 plays to get hurt when he was healthy.
Right.
Like 4 plays to get hurt when he was healthy. Like if the Jets did this, like Woody Johnson, like they would be asking for his head, and he's the owner. He's the owner of the team. I don't think he should play. Hey. And I also stick with what I said. I've never seen anybody come back in 3 months.
I want to play this bit of audio for you. It's from a former teammate. Well, it's a former Jet, a wide receiver, Lavernius Coles.
I played with Paul.
All right, Lavernius Coles on his podcast came out and said that this whole signing of Aaron Rodgers has ruined the Jets. Give it a listen.
They thought by bringing Aaron Rodgers in, that would make things better. It has made things worse. I've seen it happen. I was at the cusp when we was 9-3 with Brett as quarterback. It looked good. It didn't feel good. Dude, you got 11 guys, 10 other guys on this team that knows this offense. But you mean to tell me we have to change what we've been doing because of this guy? And that's what happened.
What do you think?
I didn't even have to listen to that to know he was wrong. Look, man, I love Lavernius. Lavernius gave me a lot of good information when I was with the Jets. I actually did a training camp together. I love him. Florida State, go Noles. But with that being said, how do you ruin the Jets? The Jets are already ruined. The Jets have been broken for a very long time.
They haven't won a playoff game since you played.
And that, that's typically what happens when I leave a place. But no, I'm just joking. I'm just messing around. Maz, you're the resident Jet guy. The Jets have been broken for a very long time. And here's a season in which Woody Johnson finally says, you know what? The hell with this. We're going to get Aaron Rodgers. We're trying to put ourselves back on the map. We got a really good defense. Yeah. We're going to go after it. Hell, if Aaron Rodgers wants a couple guys that are over the hill or not that good, so be it. Give him Lazard and give him Randall Cobb because we want him, and we got Garrett Wilson. We got Breece Hall. We got a team.
Hell yeah.
So I don't agree with Lavernius. Look, brothers can disagree. I don't agree with Lavernius on this. He didn't ruin anything. Now, they may have ruined it by not going to get a backup, and then they may have ruined it once he got hurt by not pursuing another quarterback. But they did not ruin this franchise by going to get Aaron Rodgers. They showed you we had a pulse.
Last Aaron Rodgers detail I'll bring up to you is he came out last week and he feels responsible for the way Zach Wilson has kind of fallen off. I'll put his tweet up there for you. But I did say a couple of weeks ago when finally Zach Wilson was pulled from a game and that was it for him. He went down to the basically emergency quarterback situation. He wasn't there on those road games and to help this kid out. What else could he have done to help this kid, or was this kid a lost cause from the get-go?
I mean, he's been a lost cause in my estimation, and it's no disrespect to Zach, and I actually feel bad for him. Like I told you, I met him. He's a nice guy. When he had the fan base wearing effing Mike White, effing Mike White shirts last year, when you had guys basically cheering that Zach was hurt or Zach wasn't playing, you knew last year that this thing was over, and then you double down this year, and you triple down this year, and you quadruple down this year. You've consistently put him in a bad spot, and his team knows he doesn't have it. He knows he doesn't have it. So this isn't on Aaron. This is on the New York Jets, and this is on that organization, that franchise. You saw last year how they felt about their teammate in Zach Wilson. It's definitely not on Aaron Rodgers.
All right, guys, I got to get a break in when we come back. More NFL. Also, Mike O'Hara coming up 10 minutes from now. But first, a message from the Hamlin Pub.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hamlin, baby.
Hang on, baby.
Oh, yeah. We got it.
Hang on,
we
baby.
got you.
Just hold on.
Oh, yeah. Just hold on for one more
we
day.
got it. Hold on here. Let me get the right Hamlin Pub in here. Here we go, baby. I got her down. I got her down now.
He's got the shirt
Have
on,
you ever
baby.
wanted a bar where you're a regular? We have just the place for you. Head to one of the Hamlin Pub's 7 locations and experience where everyone's a regular. Whether you're enjoying half-off pizza on Thursday, that's tonight, or game day specials available during all Michigan sports and NFL games.
That's tonight
Hamlin
as well.
Pub is the place. Visit a location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists, and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Hey, take your friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Citron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win. Register at drinkcitron.com/Vegas and buy Citron at your local Meijer store. Citron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Citron. drinkcitron.com/Vegas.
Oh, yeah, Pete Spivak, baby. I'm going to let you do every read.
He's getting hang of it.
I'm telling you. Hey, guys, a little bit of breaking news.
A little bit. That's good stuff here.
Well, there's 2 pieces. First, I'm going to do this. UCLA 5-star freshman quarterback Dante Moore
transferring,
set to hit the transfer portal. Moore was a top 5 overall recruit in 2023. Who will add a highly talented young quarterback to the transfer market. So Michigan State is open.
He's going to state.
Michigan may be open. And don't sleep on Oregon. He committed to Oregon originally, but then Bo Nix announced he was coming back. UCLA threw a couple of bucks at him, and he went to UCLA. So do not sleep on Oregon, but I would take a look at Michigan State. I would do whatever I could to get this kid be my quarterback.
He's going to Michigan State. You know, you talk about the guy that just went there, Josh Smith. Josh Smith, what did we say yesterday? Where did he has ties? Ties in Pasadena. Well, last time I checked, UCLA plays in Pasadena. Got to have spies on the ground. Got to have guys already making that connection. And then also Dante King. Correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't this happen a lot with Detroit players? They leave and they come back. Most notably basketball guys. Guys will leave the state and then they will come back. It is something about Detroit where we want to come back home, want to be around Detroit King, want to be around Cavs, want to be around the city. It's something about the energy in Detroit that when our players leave, they always come back. So I guarantee you Michigan State is going to be the place and where he goes.
DJ Ungalele is coming out too. He's going to the transfer portal. And he played for Josh Smith. John Smith.
Excuse me. Yeah.
So, and there's another Oregon State quarterback that's transferring as well. I'm hearing that he might go to Michigan State as well.
I'm no fan of Matt Rule, but I don't know if you guys heard what he had to say about the transfer portal.
Yeah. It's like a free agency.
You know, he's like, to go out there and get a good quarterback, you're literally looking at $1 million, $1.5 million in the transfer portal. That's just what it is. That's where you start. To get a good quarterback in the transfer portal, if you want to go to the transfer portal and get a quarterback, $1 million to $1.5 million minimum.
Well, that's where
you start.
What I would tell Matt Rule is to calm down because colleges and institutions have been making money off these players for years and years and years and years. They got money to spare to bring some of these guys in. It's just the way it works nowadays. You got to change and you got to adapt with the game. If some of these older guys can do it, like Nick Saban, who's already 70 plus, now I know he's a little younger than I'm being funny.
No, he's like 70.
Yeah, because I think he's like Belichick's like 69 and Saban's like 67 or something. They're close. But anyway, you got to be able to adapt the program. So stop complaining. Stop telling me about woe is me this and Pat Narduzzi and guys can just leave. Adapt with the times.
Second piece of news, Adam Schefter reporting that the first ever Monday Night Football game will be flexed. How about this? Mahomes, Kelsey, Chiefs, you're out.
And Taylor Swift.
Flexed out of Monday Night Football. It was supposed, December 18th was supposed to be Chiefs at Patriots. Nobody wants to see the Patriots. They will now have the Philadelphia Eagles and the Seattle Seahawks. So Philadelphia at Seattle, that is now going to be the first ever flexed Monday Night Football game. Chiefs at Patriots out. Eagles at Seahawks in.
Yeah, I hope it's going to be a game. I mean, we just talked about the Seattle Seahawks. We're going to see what they have tonight because they have been struggling a little bit towards the end. So I hope it's not a situation where they're flexing a team that they think is going to be a better game, and it's going to end up being another blowout.
By the way, Saban is 72.
Oh, excuse me, man. Ryan Ermanni.
Born in 51. Born in 51. Would you like another NFL thing before we go to Mike O'Hara?
Yeah, please. One more.
I want you guys to take a look at what the Texans wound up getting when they traded Deshaun Watson. Now, we know the Deshaun Watson trade hasn't been exactly what Cleveland was looking for. But look what it did to the Texans, Ryan. And you're going to have to read those for me. But they're pretty – you can't read them? Okay.
No,
but
I can see it.
They're some pretty damn good players.
Basically, off that trade with off that deal, they got Tank Dell, wide receiver. They got running back Damian Pierce. They got DN Will Anderson Jr. They had wide receiver John Mechie. I wonder what happened to John Mechie out of Alabama. He was very nice. They got offensive lineman Kenyon Green and linebacker Christian Harris, excuse me.
Pretty good players. That's how you turn it around, right? You're talking about 6 impact players there for one guy. 6 for 1.
Yeah.
It's a good,
pretty good.
6 for 1. And not only 6 for 1, you have 2 more picks coming up in 2024, a first and a fourth. And you've hit, actually, on all 6 of those players.
And Jonathan Taylor, by the way, out 2 to 3 weeks with thumb surgery for Indy. That hurts their playoff hopes. They've been playing really well. Gardner Minshew has been playing very well. So Indy on the outside
They're
looking
6
in
and
right
5.
now. They're right there, man. They are right there.
That guy should be looked at Coach of the Year if they pull this
Sean
thing off.
Steichen?
Shane Steichen.
Him too.
Let me ask a question, like with this Coach of the Year stuff, because it's so much. I see when we talk about who's the Coach of the Year, it's always these 5 and 6 teams or these 6 and 4 teams, and this guy is really working hard. Like, shouldn't the Coach of the Year, it's kind of like the NBA, or it's kind of like the Player of the Year, shouldn't it be the guy with the most wins or the guy with the best resume or the guy who's done it consistently for the longest that hasn't gotten love? Like, why doesn't Nick Sirianni get any credit for that team?
Well, that's why I'm not a big individual awards guy, Bray, because, you know, Michael Jordan could win the MVP award every year, but he doesn't.
But how do you separate the best from the not the best if you don't have these awards?
Well, maybe a good situation. I don't freaking know. What do I know? By the way, going to take a break. We'll get to Mike O'Hara in about 60 seconds. That game, Lions and Broncos, will in fact be seen locally on Fox 2 in Detroit. So it's an NFL Network game, but we will simulcast the game on Fox 2.
Michael O'Hara's going to have to stay up extra late that night.
Absolutely. We'll get to Mike next, but first a message from Planet Fitness.
I don't have to read.
Okay. Planet Fitness. We'll go to commercial.
Planet Fitness is a home.
We'll go to commercial. We'll do it live.
What do you want?
Go to commercial now, though. That'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
Very good.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White and Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equipment Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Woodward Sports own Tom Mazawey and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Hey, gang, we'll go right to the phone lines and bring in our good friend Mike O'Hara, DetroitLions.com. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, Mo.
Just glad to hear we're good friends.
Mike, what's going on?
Look, so great. Look. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. We're interrupting some very high-quality leaf raking, but what the heck?
Oh,
Gotta
man.
you just have to make sacrifices.
Beautiful day. Actually, we're probably doing you a favor to get you to stop raking the leaves right now. But, hey, Mike, this is the season of giving, and the Lions have been giving that football away over the last month of the season at a pretty exceptional clip here. 10 turnovers in the last 4 games. As you see it, is that the biggest reason why this team has hit a rough patch?
I think that, yeah, probably more than anything else. I didn't expect them to beat Baltimore, 5 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago, whatever it was. And I certainly didn't expect them to lose to the Green Bay Packers. So I think it has evened out. And look, and we'll see. They've just had their mini break. To me, it was sort of like a mini bye. And you saw what happened when they came out of the bye. They won a couple of games and got things going again. We'll see if the same thing happens with, like I said, this mini bye to get it going again.
You know, playing 3 games in 11 days really takes a toll. Do you feel like this 10-day layoff really came at a nice time to just kind of recalibrate where they are as a football team and get back to fundamentals? Was this a really good 10-day break for them?
Yeah, you don't know exactly how they spend all their time, but I would agree that it is. And I think it's this time of year. I think any team, whether they're in the race or not, but predominantly when they're in the race, would like a break, sort of just to recalibrate, as you said, and get ready for the last. Get down the stretch, as we used to say in the horse racing business.
Mike, it seems like the people that love you and know you call you Mo. So you mind if I just stop calling you Mike and call you Mo? I think it sounds a lot better.
Can you repeat that slower?
I said, Mike, I'm going to start calling you Mo like Maz does. I feel like the people that know you call you Mo, so I'm going to call you Mo.
Well, that's okay with me, but ask Tommy. I think he copyrighted that.
I did, but I'll let him do it, Mo.
See, Maz, I appreciate you, man. You're so kind. Mo, let me ask you a couple questions real quick about these Lions. When you look at the Lions now, are you looking back on the season and are you saying, you know what, the injuries of Emmanuel Mosley's, the injuries of CJ, the injuries of insert offensive lineman that has had to interchange all year, and even David Montgomery, is it the injuries that have caused the Lions to kind of be in this space of 7-3 and now trying to kind of, 7-3 and trying to figure it out if they're that team still, or is it the schedule that they've played and you look at the teams that they've lost to, playoff teams versus the teams they won, not necessarily that good?
Well, I think it's a little bit. Those are all good points, and I think it's a little bit of all of that. Really, it's the injuries. I mean, to some degree, okay, but everybody gets injuries. But this really hit the Lions in a spot, and I'm talking about in the secondary that you just talked about. They put a lot of resources in there, a lot of effort to beefing up that part of the team, and what they got out of it was one game from Gardner Johnson and two snaps from the other guy. And so they certainly didn't get anywhere near the production or the availability that they were expected to get from two really pretty well-respected, NFL defensive backs. I think that and the injury to left guard Jonah Jackson, I think, has really made an impact on them in a negative way. Now, this is the National Football League, and you played in it, and you've got to find ways to overcome, and that's part of it. You're not just going to get 17 weeks plus, a week off, total of 18 weeks. You're not just going to get clear sailing. There's going to be a bumpy ride somewhere in there, and you've got to be strong enough and mentally tough enough to navigate it. And if you look at their record, 8-3, I think for the most part the Lions have done that. I think they really have. Look at their 4-1 in road games, 4-2 at home. So I think that's really a pretty significant reversal of what you see. First of all, from most teams, and especially from the Detroit Lions up until like the midpoint of last season. So I'm not as whacked out of what happened in that last game against the Packers as a lot of people might be, and that's okay. Everybody looks at it in a different way, in their own way. But to me, I think we're making an awful lot out of, and this, I'm not saying this with sarcasm. This is accuracy. A one-game losing streak.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You can't make too much of a one-game losing streak. I think a lot of people, though, they also look at the line. They look at the Chicago Bears game as what could have been, and then the Green Bay Packers. But we do live in the real world, so that was not a loss. It was an almost loss. Last question I have to ask you is obviously the turnovers. Turnovers are the big thing for Ryan Ermanni, and I agree. You can't continue to turn the ball over that clip, especially when you start facing teams like the Cowboys at the end of the season. Hell, even the Denver Broncos. Outside of the turnovers, what is something that the Lions definitely need to clean up or get better at going into this last 6 games of the season?
I'd say tighten the secondary. You just can't have guys standing wide open. You're catch and run. You can't have it. First of all, you're giving them up the catch, and then second of all, you're giving them up, yards after catch. And I don't know what I don't know what the antidote for that is at all, because, like I said just a minute ago, they really had addressed a lot of their off-season planning on defensive backs, and they didn't get, they got no production out of them. The other part of it is the pass rush. Where is it? They've had 22 or 23 sacks this year, and of those, of that total, 18 have been in 3 games.
Right.
You've got to look. It's great to get a quarterback hit and all of that, but you've got to get them on the ground. You really do. It changes the game. First of all, it changes that play, then it changes the game, and it changes the way they operate. So that's to me is surprising how little they've done in terms of rushing the passer.
The Dean joins us, Mike O'Hara, DetroitLions.com. Mo, this is for you here. Now, the linebackers, we got Alex Anzalone down now with a hand and wrist injury. Not sure how long that's going to be. Jack Campbell, the young rookie. Malcolm Rodriguez, I'm hearing, is getting work. What's happening with the linebacking core?
Oh, just what you just said. They lost one, and now they're counting on two young guys to replace probably one of their top 3 defensive players in Alex Anzalone. Look, I thought he really came on, from the midpoint of last season through the end, and then carried it all the way through this season. And that's, to me, it's a loss. First of all, just his athleticism and the way he plays the game, and the other part about it is his intelligence at playing the game too. Like, he's the guy who wears that green, which I just patted myself on the top of the head. Green dot. Must be something wrong with me. I just hit my green dot, and I didn't get any smarter. But that too, somebody else has got to pick up that slack, and they will. I mean, one way or another, but it won't be the same.
And how about Jared Goff? What's been the difference that you've seen in him in the past 3 weeks? Have you seen a difference? I mean, he was fumbling back in the day, then he wasn't fumbling. Now all of a sudden, he's a little bit, he's not as comfortable looking as he was in the past.
No, I don't think so. He really took some hits in this last game. The one with the 2 games ago with the 3 interceptions. 2 of them were tipped, and one was just an out and out bad throw. But like he said, that's the price of playing quarterback in the National Football League. You got to take accountability for everything that happens, and he does that. I don't think one thing about him, even like the game where he had the interceptions. On clutch time, he came in 4 minutes and 15 seconds, took that team approximately 140 140 or 150 yards in two possessions to win the game. Didn't look like a guy who was shaken by it. I didn't like it. Right. Obviously, I don't like things like that, but it didn't seem to me that it affected his performance. And last week, disaster. But that entire team, to me, played with absolutely no energy. And I just wanted, I didn't say I wanted to do this, but I just thought to myself, don't you guys know that you invented this game in 1935, and you acting like it belongs to somebody else?
I know. I brought my two youngest daughters to that game. Their first Thanksgiving Day game. They kept texting me, Dad, what the hell, man? What's with this team? I mean, I was embarrassed watching that game, and I thought from the get-go they were out-coached in this game, Mike. From the get-go.
Yeah, they made a very smart play. The Packers did when the coin flip. I mean, 99 times out of 100, or whatever it is, you defer and let the other team. No, they had something in mind, and they went right at it. They wanted a big strike coming right out of the gate, and they got a 53-yard completion. And Jerry Jacobs. Jerry Jacobs. I was thinking of another guy, Jerry Jacobs. Yeah, just couldn't get there. No, there were really three guys.
Should have been a touchdown, actually.
Play on the ball.
Yeah, it could have been a touchdown if he laid it out more.
Well, I'll settle for 53 yards.
Yeah.
But it just looked to me like the Packers were on their game, and the Detroit Lions, except for maybe the last possession, never were.
No.
Mike, I hate to ask the question because I feel like it's a hypothetical, and there are plenty of a lot of football left, but does it feel to you like Brad Holmes missed the boat a little bit this year at the trade deadline and just throughout the year? I mean, Shaq Leonard is out there, not even a visit. I mean, it just feels like any opportunity to improve this team as the year went on, they just haven't done that. Do you believe that has been a mistake at all? And again, a little unfair because there's a lot of football left and we don't know how the year is going to play out, but it just feels like a little bit of a missed opportunity to improve this roster this year. How do you see it?
Well, the one person that I would have liked would have been the pass rusher that ended up signing with the Chicago Bears.
Montez Sweat. He has completely changed that defense.
Yeah, he really
completely
did.
changed that defense.
Well, I don't know if he completely changed anything. I don't see him as that type of player. But he's a good player, but not the best player. But I would have liked to have plugged him into that defense. I really would.
Yeah, and we'll see.
Just one last thing.
Yeah.
The reasons for that, was it money? And that $98 million is an awful lot to shell out for a guy that to play a half a season and then whatever there's rest on his contract, I guess another 4 years or whatever it is. So I don't know. Really, they haven't spoken on it yet. They haven't heard anything. They haven't any sources close to the scene or whatever. But I'd be interested to find out why not.
No doubt. Absolutely. Well, there's a lot of football left, and it starts this week, one game at a time. New Orleans Saints. Mike, thanks so much for the time, my friend. We appreciate it.
Mo, always a pleasure.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, you got it. We'll talk to you hopefully maybe next week after a win.
Hey, happy early birthday, Mo.
Oh, Mo, birthday. Happy birthday, buddy.
I'm trying to forget, guys.
No,
man.
How do you forget Pearl Harbor Day?
Those years.
You don't forget Pearl Harbor Day, Mo.
D-Day? Oh, wow.
Hi, Mike. Thanks, my friend. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Mike O'Hara there. We're going to take a break. Where do you want to go here, Pete? Mark White. Let's go.
Winter is here, and if you're dreaming of a new home but feeling the pinch, we've got some fantastic news for you. Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Here's the deal. When you work with a Mark White and Associates realtor, they'll pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right. Buying a home just got a whole lot easier. Imagine having an extra $5,000 in your pocket this winter. With years of experience and commitment to making your dreams a reality, Mark White and Associates are your go-to for all things real estate. The incredible opportunity won't last forever. Call Mike White and Associates at 248-290-8242 and let them make your winter home buying dreams come true. Visit their website, markwhitesells.com, or call them at 248-290-8242 to hear the full terms of this offer and begin your home search today. Also, Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you feel the experience of squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment and full body workout in less than 30 minutes. All memberships free, including fitness training. You'll get all of this just for $10 a month. No commitment, no matter where you are. This is a Planet Fitness close. There are more than 50 in the Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazawey and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists, and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Hey, when it comes to your pet, do not settle for less. You got to give them the best. That's why Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. They have over 13 Metro Detroit locations and over 60 brands of food at the lowest cost available. Also, they got delivery for you right there, curbside delivery if you need it. So give your pet the best. Check out Premier Pet Supply on the web at premierpetsupply.com.
And also what you need to do is you need to join Woodward Sports and Long Drink for the Lions VIP tailgate sponsored by Bullseye Event Group. Go to bullseyeeventgroup.com. That's how you get the tickets. Every home game at Shed 5, talking about the Denver Broncos. Just got flexed to 8 o'clock game. Don't you want to be downtown? Don't you want to have some fun? You go downtown 4 hours before the game starts. That's when the party kicks off. You get drinks, you get food. It's all inclusive. Plus, you get to party with the best people in Detroit. You know what that is? That's Woodward Sports, baby. Come on down, Lions VIP tailgate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, running out of show here, guys. What do you got, Maz?
I got Pistons at the Knicks tonight.
Oh, 14.5 point.
They have lost.
14.5
This is a franchise. Every loss just continues to add to a franchise-long 15-game losing streak. Of course, they lost to the Lakers last night. This is probably the worst thing that could happen to this team. They got to get on a plane, go to New York, and face off against the
maybe
Knicks.
Maybe they could go to the Christmas tree.
Yeah, maybe they can go kick
I watched it last night getting lit. It was very nice.
Yeah.
The Rockefeller Center.
Well, the Pistons got lit last night, too.
They got lit.
The Rockefeller wasn't the only thing that got lit.
And the Red Wings are home tonight for the Patrick Kane road trip, because yesterday they played the Rangers. They lost to them. That was Patrick Kane's old team. How about this team? They're playing the Blackhawks tonight. His first team. So Patrick Kane got a chance to go against the Blackhawks tonight. So good luck to the Red Wings.
I need some positive energy. That's what I need. I feel like the Lions had positive energy going on. I feel like when the season first started for the Red Wings, they had positive energy. I think the Pistons, well, they didn't have positive energy, but we need some positive energy tonight. Just lay low and relax a little bit. Just chill, man.
I got bowling tonight.
I got a Zoom call with Hondo
Carpenter. Zoom, baby.
Man, we're going to talk a little bit about the NFL currently. And other than that, man, just relax and chill.
Oh, man. All right, let's go. Hey, who wants to get us out of here today?
Kool-Aid. What you got? What you got on the mic, Kool-Aid?
Get us out of here today.
It's bowling night tonight.
Yeah, turkey?
You'll get some of those turkeys, as Ryan calls them.
Hey, look, man.
Any turkeys?
Yeah.
These Pistons, like you said, I want to see a little bit more fight.
Just a little more fight.
I don't even understand what's going on. You got young legs. You got a squad that's supposed to be realistically going out there and You get run off the court by old LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Come on, man.
Remember when B. Stu ran after LeBron last year? Look, they was getting their ass
Where's
whooped, but at
that
the end of the day, you saw the energy.
They were
the fight
fighting.
brought you in. Remember Wiseman when he first gets here and he's mad that they lost by that 2 points? Where's that energy?
Man.
That's all we're asking
Pick
for.
up the energy.
If it's true, if it's true, they could have got 2 number 1 picks for Bogey, and they didn't do it. I think that's fireable right then and there.
Yeah, we'll say that for another show, man. For Woodward Sports, man, this is Braylon Edwards, this is Ryan Ermanni, Tom Mazawey, my man Kool-Aid, Play-byPlay, and JB is lurking over his shoulders, man. We appreciate you for always tuning in. Guess what, man? We still bringing the heat. Lions going to get a win. We're going to change the energy. But right now, to beat a man, you got to beat the man. Woo! See you tomorrow.